Hello, my name is Toby and welcome to my usual Friday message. I guess if you're not looking forward to the Rugby World Cup final, you might be counting down to Diwali or Christmas, but just a couple of other things to be looking forward to over the next few weeks. That's right, it's the launch of the new Trust Staff app on your phone. You'll be able to download all sorts of things, and as an incentive to download those things, there'll also be special offers and all sorts of temptations in the run-up to Christmas in the shops. So look out for the launch of the new app. I'm going to say equally excitingly, the new Trust website, which will bring together all our web activity, will also go live this side of Christmas, and that really will be, I guess, the front door or the front window by which we listen to and communicate with the patients that we look after and their carers. So both really important things in the organisation. And then, of course, before Christmas, the badges are coming. Now, one or two of you have been in touch to ask about the badges, so there'll be lots more publicity, but the next step in the badges is actually to write to each of you and ask what the name is that you want on your badge. There isn't an option to put your job title, but your pronouns, the phonetic spelling of your name, your chosen name, all of those things are options. And then that badge comes as a gift to you. For most of us, we'll be using a magnetic badge because that's what evidence shows works best. But there are a small number of staff, for example, our colleagues who work in catering, who need a pin-based badge. And there may be other people in that position as well. So it isn't that the badge is just going to arrive. We're going to need you to get involved in your badge, and that will be coming to you during November. So there's a lot coming up, isn't there? Now, you knew I was going to talk about the strategy. So last week I spoke about my personal favourite promise, which is promise number 2. I notice in daily comms I'm not the only one that's speaking up for that. It's a great video, by the way. This week I just want to talk about promise 21. Why am I talking about promise 21? It's on the screen now. It's the only promise that's going to be owned collectively by all of the leaders in our care groups and every single executive director working together as the clinical leadership executive. And you can see that it speaks to the partnerships that we want to have with the voluntary sector and the partnerships we need to have with primary care. If we think about Ardash over the 5 years of our strategy, I can confidently say to you that our relationship with general practice will change. At the moment, we've got varied interactions, and we've got some practices we work really closely with. We've got other practices where there's less clear multidisciplinary working. We've got some services where we've got real shared care arrangements, and others, ADHD for example, where the arrangements are really variable and, to be honest, not satisfactory. All of our services entirely depend on our general practice relationships. You know, and I know, as professionals and as patients, that there are things we could do differently that would make the life of our practice nurse colleagues, our GP colleagues, our counselling colleagues in practices easier, and there are things they could do that would make our working lives easier, and most importantly, that would break down some of the barriers and the handoffs that our patients experience. So it's really important as we go forward that we find the right relationship into general practice. We're looking to recruit a number of GPs into the management structure of the organisation and into the structure of our board over the next little while. So you will be able to think of your examples, I can think of mine, but I guess when we're thinking about the strategy and what it's really trying to say, that different relationship, both with the voluntary sector, which we've spoken about before, and with primary care, is a really core part of future Ardash. Somewhere in the strategy it says we can't succeed unless others are also able to prosper, and I'm sure that general practice is an essential and necessary part of that landscape. So Keep reading through, look for your favourite promises. I've given you a couple of mine. I'm sure I'm going to keep doing that on a Friday. You're waiting for the flu number. They haven't told me the flu number yet, so it's going to pop up on the screen in a minute. That either means it's not going great or it's going amazingly. Either way, the message is the same. We're shooting for 3,000. If you haven't had your flu jab, please do. Let's stay safe before all the leaves fall off the trees. Cheers.